So, one of the things that discussed in the Maimer is that the Kroshim were made mi'atzi shitim. So a tiff of word, very tiff of word of the Maimer. It's not tiff. I mean, I don't mean it's tiff. That's hard to understand what it's saying. But the Mizbeina, that's very different than everybody else. It's very different. The Kroshim were made me'atzi shitim. This is atzi shitim. So on that, the Friedrich Rebbe's Masber, the Maimer, that shitim is Moshe Shtus. Really, the word shitim means to deviate. That's the word shitim. Miloshin sistik. His sister Ishtay, she deviated. Taught. Now, when you deviate, so there is the middle path, and there's deviating from the middle path down, and deviating from the middle path up. It's a chidush. There's the middle path. That's normal. That's considered normal. That's considered like normal.
Balanced.
Huh?
Balanced.
What'd you say?
Balanced.
Balanced. I want to say misnagid. You say balanced. All right. Normal. A normal person. The way I want to say I'm misnagid, because I want to remind myself that I remember in the Musa Shmuis that I heard, I would say about 55 years ago, Be'erech, give or take a year or two, maybe 57 years ago. So there's this person speaking in the Musa Shmuis, who's saying that we say every morning, Shalei Asani Goy. It will make me a Goy. So which goy are you talking about? You're making a goy. So I lived in America. In America, there's a street called the Bowery. It's Bowery. Now the Bowery was a street the Bowery would go down to Delancey Street, not in Gale here. And over there, at that corner of Bowery and Delancey, if you drive there, you stop by a light. So there'd be a bunch of people that are drunk. They will walk over to the car with like a shmata, and they would like start washing the car, the windshield, hoping to get from you a quarter or $1 for their services. And you know, if you were nice about it, you gave them the $1. If you weren't so nice, you just left. And that was it. So that was a place called the Bowery. The Bowery is the name of a street, really, but there was a Bowery. So when you say Shlei Asani Goy, I remember this Maggid Shir or whatever. He's no longer alive. He said he says doesn't mean the Goy in the Bowery. Doesn't mean the Goy in the Bowery. Shlei Asani Goy is not referring to the Goy in the Bowery. Shlei Asani Goy refers to, I don't remember who the president was, Johnson, or Nixon, I don't remember who, before he was impeached. That place was Akopon. There was Johnson, Nixon, Clinton, I don't know. The Kudas Advarim is, when you say Shlei Asani Goy, you mean the most professional and admirable, and the Chvesish was Goy. Shalei Asani Goy. I'm a Yid. I'm not president. I'm not Trump. Trump, like on top of the world. But I'm not Trump. I'm a Yid that gets up in the morning and I says Beidani, and I say brachas. I'm a Yid. and I don't eat treif, and I keep Shabbos. This is my recollection of my youth in that yeshiva lita'it that this guy was speaking Mashlei Sadikoy. We're sitting tonight and we think to ourselves, we're Lubavitchers. The question is, and that, not who. So I can say, not like the Kal Shebekalim, not like those people that are figuring out how to eat cholavak. You have people that are figuring out how to eat cholavak. And they have all kinds of ways. Trying to figure out how to, I don't know what. I don't know what. They're trying to figure out to go, I don't know what. No, I'm not like that. But there are people out there that wake up in the morning, learn Daf Yomi, and after Daf Yomi, they learn I don't know what. I'm not 100% sure exactly how to say that part of it. But we're talking about serious people and fine people. And I don't think that our Indian is to mevatel them. We have to appreciate them. We have to admire them. We have to encourage them.
To learn something.
And to learn from them. But we have to realize that we are chassidim. We were touched by the Rebbe, which is the ultimate level of truth. It gives us the truth and perspective of how to look at this world. And to realize that the world is the Alma the Shikra, and the Tachlis of the Sheker is that from the Sheker we should make a Keresh, and we should connect this world to Likus. In Sof Kol Sof, the Rebishter to Ishfir Zeitz. And the Rambam began with Yeseidas, Mabuda Chochmes, Leida Sheyesh Shabbat Rishon. Kacha. There's the Elam Hazeh, they used to create a world. Tzarech Leida Sheyesh Shabbat Rishon. And what's the Tachlis? The Tachlis is you should go through Rambam from one wave to another wave to another wave until you reach to the Rambam Be'esi Azman, the last halacha in Rambam in Hilchos Malachim. Be'esi Azman, there's not going to be Chama with Tachlos. It'll be a Mola Oretz Deis Avaya Kamayim Layom B'Chasim. That the world will be completely encompassed in Elikus. And this is the world, this is the life we're living. That we're living, that's the life we're supposed to live. This is the life was being touched. And this is what is the Rebbe, this is what Chassidus. Chassidus came to give us a prelude of what's going to be like life after Bias HaMashiach. Bias HaMashiach, what's going to happen? I'll tell you, people like stories. I'll tell you a story that you maybe know. So if you don't like the story, I'll tell you the story. It's a good story. If a guy doesn't know the story, it's a good story. If you know it, you have to act like you don't know it. The story geht as say, אתה שומע? אתה מבין מה שאני אומר? You don't say in English? באמת? אתה מבין אנגלית? אתה רב. טוב. הוא הבן של הרב שניאור אשכנזי, לא סתם ככה. לא סתם ככה. אולי אתה יזמינו אותך לדבר אולי באיזה מקום. ישלמו לך כסף. לי הביאו אותי לפה, אתה ישלחו אותך לשם. ישלמו לך לשלם ולשלוח אותך לשם. You heard of שני אשכנזים, הוא בן אדם עולמי, כאן אתה שומע. טוב, סליחה. זה היה קירוף. התכוונתי לקירוף.
זה הקירוף.
כן, זה קירוף. הליך הוא עוד Now, where are we up to? I'll tell you a story. The story geht azay. I'll tell you a story. I don't know if you'll appreciate the story, but it's a good story. The Rebbe taught a niggun called Adam's Midas. Everyone knows the niggun. The Rebbe taught this niggun. When did he teach the niggun? He taught the niggun Simchas Torah. The Seder Advarim of the Rebbe was that in those years, like between Yudalid, Zvarim, Chofei or something, Yudalid, the Rebbe, there would be a kofis. Like interesting to know what the Seder was by the Rebbe. The Rebbe would bring the night going in Simchas Torah. That's our years also. The Rebbe would bring. The Rebbe would sit down to bring 9 o'clock. So bring till about 12:30. It was a stam fabring. It was a serious fabring. The Rebbe Chal didn't do anything stam. But the night of Simchas Torah was like an ernst fabring. It was like a starke fabring. 12:30, they would go back into his room, and he would come back to the shul like 1 o'clock. Because they would prepare the shul from the Fabrengen to a coffee. They would take out all the benches. I would say. They would like announce that before he went upstairs, he would say, remind everyone you have to be Mavasedra. You should utilize the time to be Mavasedra for Zis HaBracha. People would say L'chaim then, whatever would say it was. Then, the Rebbe would have a coffee. Come down like about 1 o'clock. You remember? He was around 1 o'clock. He would come around 1 o'clock, and it would be about till about 4. 4 o'clock, those years, the Rebbe would go for Sudas Yom Tov. Where would he eat Sudas Yom Tov? We eat Sudas Yom Tov on the second floor of 770, the Frierdiker Rebbe's apartment. He was like a guest of his brother-in-law. How would you say? He wanted to be a guest of his brother-in-law.
Are you going to be after a couple?
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm telling you right now. He would go upstairs, 4 o'clock. He would be upstairs till about 5. 5 o'clock, he would come downstairs and teach the niggun. Do niggun. 5 o'clock in the morning. After Fabrenga all night. Teach the niggun. And after the niggun, he would give out l'chaim to those people that accepted themselves to be basic of limud achsidus. And about 6 in the morning, he would go back to his room, and then he would go home, go to sleep, and then 10 o'clock was davening, a conference, and then there was the main Fabrengen of Simchas Torah was Mitzvah Simchas Torah. He would wash before the Shkia, and then he would sit down and Fabreng for like 6-7 hours. And then he would give out Keshel Bracha. You understand what's going on here? So, when he taught the niggun at 5 o'clock in the morning, one of the niggunim that he taught was the niggun of Adam's Midas. When he taught the niggun of Adam's Midas, he said over a story that there was a yid, that yid started singing this niggun of Adam's Midas, Mitzvah Yom Kippur. Mitzvah Yom Kippur, he started singing this niggun. And he was very inspired. And he kept on singing. And the Shabbos was in the Shul. And he wanted to go home. And this guy's singing. He had no choice, he just left. He left him in the shul. And this guy was singing. Whatever. Nebach, yeah, that's the word Nebach. He was singing. Shabbos went home. Be'avdol, he ate Suda. Maybe he dealt with his sukkah a little bit. He went to sleep. Next morning he woke up. You have to come early to shul, yeah? It says you have to come early to shul, 5 minutes early. Imagine that, 5 minutes early. And 5 minutes early, you have to come early. Because whatever, you have to get up early. Because officially you were up for slichas all the time, whatever. And we're not up for slichas, whatever, usually. I'll go for it, because usually get. Comes to shul. The Shabbos comes to shul, and this guy is still singing Adam Smidas. Adam Smidas, reminds me, I'm telling you, this is an anecdotal story of Yisrael Gordon, Olav Hashalom, which was a Gishmakei, but also a Letz. So he says, oh, Azoy, the Yechon, his father, was you know the story I'm about to say? I'm going to tell you now a good story. Good story. Yechon, which was Yisrael's father, was in 770, and he saw Shmuel David Reichik. He took him the Chofs maybe, or the Yuds, maybe the early Yuds. And he turns to Shmuel David Reichik and he asks him, where is sleeping tonight? Shmuel Reichik had no idea. Like, he didn't even think about it. He says, come to me. He came to me. So he came to Yechon in the house. I don't know where Yechon lived. Yechon had a house, and he had a room where Yisrael Gordon slept, and Schoenberg Gordon, which was his roommate, got married already. So it was an empty bed. So Yechon told him, you sleep in this bed. Sleep beside him. I don't know, the age, whatever's the gap. Then Yisrael Gordon zocked. Then he went to sleep. He was lying in bed. Shmuel David comes into the room, and he's next to his bed. I don't know if he's standing or sitting, and he starts saying Krishma Shabbat. And he starts saying, boy, this Shalom. You remember Shmuel David? You remember his accent? Boy, this Shalom. And he wasn't happy the way he said boy, this Shalom. Because he wanted to say Areni Meichel, but before he said Areni Meichel, he said Boyni Shalom. And he wasn't happy the way he said the Boyni Shalom. So he said Nachamon, Boyni Shalom. But the second time he said it, he also wasn't happy. So he said a third time, Boyni Shalom. And he saw God based on a good chut. So he was sitting, lying in the next bed, and he's listening to Shmuel David saying, Boyni Shalom. B'kitzur, Yisrael Gordon says he fell asleep. And he kept on saying, Boyni Shalom. Then he slept 6-7 hours, whatever. He slept. Then he wakes up the next morning, 6-7 in the morning, and he still hears saying, this is, I tell you a little bit about Shmuel David Reichik. How did I get into this?
I'm serious.
Huh? So it's upside down. So this guy was singing Adam's Midas all night. This is what the Rebbe is saying. Never say a story. Never told the story of Adam's Midas. He taught the thing of Adam's Midas and a story. So the story goes that Reuven Dudin, which had like a different type of relation with the Rebbe, went into the Rebbe. And he said that the Elam is saying that the person that was singing Adam's Midas, Botzim Kippur, was the Rebbe. Is that true? Is this a story about the Rebbe? The says, no, it's not true. The person that was singing out of his mirrors was a person that was before the Baal Shem Tov. So this is what's called a C, you know what's the word?
Certified?
No.
Segue.
Like a book next to next book, no?
Sequel.
A sequel. This is a sequel to the first story. This is a sequel to the first story. Stories of it. That there was a Yid. That Yid had a big chosh in Pinyin Shvuim. He was very involved in Pinyin Shvuim. Those years, there was the concept of a person, a poritz, that would take a person and put him in prison, and it was terrible. So he went and he found out he needed money. He would help them out. That was his hobby. He was a rich man. He heard about a certain person that was in prison because he owed the money to the squire. He went to the squire. And this squire was an emissus Seni Yisrael, and he especially hated this Yid. And Mamela, he wasn't really interested in releasing this Yid, even no matter how much money. He asked him, how much money does he owe you? He says, he owes me 1,000,000 zlotys, like 1,000,000, whatever, $1 million, I don't know. This guy didn't have 1,000,000. He was a rich man, but he didn't have 1,000,000 zlotys. It was very bad. This guy is like, so he went back, he left. Then he thought to himself, how do I get 1,000,000 zlotys? I wanted to have a business. I said my business maybe $250,000. Have a house, have a ship, have a dos, have a yets. If I sell almost everything that I own, I'll have about 1,000,000 zlotys. You have a Yid that needs 1,000,000 zlotys, I'll give him 1,000,000 zlotys. I'm going to remain penniless, homeless, jobless. You shouldn't care. He did that. This guy went ahead and he sold everything that he had in order to help the shit. That's fine, yeah? You're impressed. You're impressed. He comes with the money, Shamadan, and he comes to the guy asks him, what do you want? I came to bring you the money. He opens his thing. Wow. He says, fine, I'll release him. They go to the person's cell, whatever it was. And unfortunately, that person passed away. The person was lying on the floor, lifeless. He died from hunger or whatever. Obviously, he's not getting his money back. He gave him the corpse. Here's the corpse. Bury him. Took the corpse. He buried him. He felt terrible. First of all, that this guy died. And secondly, that he's penniless. He'd be willing to be penniless in order to save someone's life. But he wouldn't be willing to be penniless to get someone to be buried. He felt terrible. That night, the next night, this deceased person comes to him in a dream. He says, thank you very, very much for your effort on my behalf. Unfortunately, you weren't able to save my life, but I want to pay you back. I'll give you a choice. I'll give you a choice. Either I'll give you your money back. I'll get you all your money back. Enjoy your money back. Or I'll give you a taste of Eilam Haba and Eilam Haza. This guy was the Edel guy. Taste of Eilam Haba and Eilam Haza. Sounds interesting, no? Interesting. He chose that. He chose a taste of Eilam Haba and Eilam Haza. This is the Rebbe telling the story to Reuven Dunan. He says, this is this guy that sang at night Adam Zemiris. He was experiencing a taste of Eilam Haba and Eilam Haza. It's a good story. You knew the story? Oh. So he's telling, he said, this story, what's happening in Eilam Haba? Adam's Venus. So the next part of the story is hard to understand. The next part of the story is that Reuven Dunan had held his head. And turns to the Rebbe and says, the Rebbe said that this story was before the Baal Shem Tov. How do you see the story was before the Baal Shem Tov? Who says? Maybe the story was just 100 years ago. Are you with me? Listen, attentively. So the Rebbe says, listen. He says, the story must have been before Chassidus. Two reasons. One reason is, because had the story happened after this Galus Chassidus, so this guy wouldn't have said, I'll answer you. He said, I'll ask my Rebbe. What do you answer? Such a question. You want to have this? Such a question you have to ask a Rebbe. You don't answer yourself. Number one. And then the Rebbe said, if he would have asked the Rebbe, any Rebbe, so the Rebbe would have told him to take the money. Why? So it's a tip of art. Because with the money, he'll be able to help other Yid. The fact that he has a geschmack in Gan Eden, and he's had a taste of Gan Eden, very hard for them. Who has anything from the fact that he had a taste in Gan Eden? Who has anything from the fact that he has a taste in Gan Eden? That was the part. How does that have to do with what we're talking about? I remember. Well, how does something to do with what we're talking about? Bowery. זה הוא פסק אותי דיגן, זה פסק. You're not a psa Lipsker, right? He's a Lipsker. איך הליפסקר?
Lefgifter, זה בר מנהג.
ידע.
תראי